Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, Jay-Z Courtside, coming at y'all today on Tuesday, March 10th, day after my birthday. Actually, today's Mario Day. Shout out Mario and Luigi. Shout out Nintendo, even though they hate us and want us to suffer with mid-tier games for $70. Hope everybody's having a phenomenal start to your day. Welcome on in and good morning. Guys, I got to tell y'all immediately, this setup is not it. Your boy's going to have to invest into a laptop if I plan on traveling down the line and we start doing these podcasts on the road. I got my phone live on TikTok. I got my MacBook live on Twitch, and it can't handle anything else. If I open a Google tab, it'll just start crashing the stream. And then I got my fiance's laptop on the left of me with all the stats and information I'm going to need to talk about today and all my talking points. Okay? So as far as future episodes this week, I'm letting y'all know here. Don't bet on them, okay? I need to get a better laptop. I also don't really have, I don't really want to spend that money on a laptop that I need right now when traveling isn't really in my short term. Traveling is in my long term. So you guys know how laptops work, man. Why would I invest in a laptop now if I'm not going to be traveling often until a year from now when there's a better laptop out? We live in a consumerism economy, okay? So we'll talk about it, but be sure to join the Discord, and you'll get constant updates on whether or not there are more streams or podcasts this week. I'm thinking worst case, maybe I just enjoy the rest of the week at my parents' house. That's what I'm thinking. So I'll keep y'all posted. If you guys don't see any episodes the rest of this week, then you'll catch us live Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern at our usual time, in our usual place, in our usual state, in our usual setup. All right, so my apologies in advance. I'd like to thank the sponsors of today's podcast. Nobody. Maybe one day we'll get a segment for that. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're in the TikTok, be sure to drop some likes on that stream. If you're in the Twitch, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Guys, let's get started with today's episode. My, oh my. What NBA basketball we had last night in Oklahoma. I swear Oklahoma doesn't play on the road. I feel like every time I watch Oklahoma, they're at home. This is unbelievable. Did you guys watch this game? Because if you did, you'll know exactly what I'm referring to here, man. It's the title of today's episode. It's the title of every headline that's going public right now. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just stuck his claim in being back-to-back MVP. And people started having uncomfortable conversations about SGA in my Discord, which we will be touching on in a little bit. But I think it's time that we just dive right into it. There was no defense played in this game. I think we can all agree. It looked like because the Thunder were missing so much as they've missed all year, there was no defense played. Alex Caruso was out. Isaiah Hartenstein was out. J-Dub was out. Chet Holmgren was out. They're basically missing their starting lineup and their six-man. And they still managed to beat the Nuggets, who are finally healthy. Finally, they're just missing Peyton Watson, which, that's a big miss. But compared to Aaron Gordon, and I thought they were going to miss Jamal Murray, but he played. And he didn't play all that bad either. What a game. What a game. SGA, just back-to-back clutch buckets. Celebration, too, like that. SGA is honestly the best player in the NBA. Said it at the beginning of this year. I said SGA was going to win MVP. Actually, I said Nikola Jokic is going to MVP. So let me not lie. I said the media doesn't want to give it to SGA, and I am right. The media does not want to give SGA his back-to-back MVP. The media wants to give Nikola Jokic his fourth MVP. But it looks like Shai is just forcing everybody's hand here to just admit what they're watching. And it's arguably the best guard we've seen since 2015 Steph Curry. Is that a hot take? I don't think so. I think everybody just said, whoa, Jay, relax in their head. And then they started to think about it and say, wait a minute, this guy's right. Because think about it. What guard have we seen in the last 10 years do quite what SGA's been doing? I'm looking at Steph Curry. I'm looking at, and that's exactly my point. There's nobody else to really look at as far as guards go. And something that is just so fascinating to me, and thank you for keeping me on track, Twitch chat, I appreciate y'all, is that people are so focused on the foul baiting, the foul merchant, the free throw. Everybody's so focused on the narratives. Everybody's so focused on the free throws that they're trying to distract you from the fact that we're watching literal greatness. We're watching literal greatness. The best guard play I have seen. Hey, Dad, do you think you can quiet down a little bit? You guys' voices are coming onto the show, please and thank you. Quiet in the set. What we're watching right now is genuinely the best guard play we've seen since a unanimous MVP 10 years ago. Hey, Mom, do you think we can get some quiet on the set as well? Hey, guys, sorry, I am visiting my parents' house right now for the week. My apologies. I didn't think I'd have some technical difficulties in today's episode, yet here we are. They're just yapping right outside my office. I don't think it's that outlandish of a take to say that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is playing some of the best basketball we've seen in the last decade. Genuinely. I don't think that's crazy to say. In fact, I think if he wins another MVP, and let's say the Thunder go all the way and win another Finals MVP, are we not talking about the best guard since Kobe Bryant? Whoops. How dare I? How dare I mention one of the most glazed players in NBA history, Kobe Bryant. Am I lying when I say this? If he wins a Finals MVP this year and an MVP, he goes back-to-back MVP and Finals MVP, we're entering some very uncomfortable territory. I think that throttles him automatically in the top 50 players of all time. I think that throttles him. And man, my Discord chat sort of convinced me last night. I was calling people crazy for not having Isaiah Thomas in their top 3 guards of all time. Isaiah Thomas never won an MVP. Now, Isaiah Thomas was also up against Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, just stealing every single MVP. But if this man enters, if he gets his second MVP and second Finals MVP, which Isaiah only had one, I think we're entering the top 3 conversations as far as point guards in the NBA. And yes, Steph Curry's a point guard. Stop moving the goalpost and saying that he's not a point guard. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. This game was absolutely incredible. And, I mean, we haven't even gone over the stats yet. Somebody in the TikTok actually said that SGA is the new NBA's golden boy. He's literally not. Everybody hates SGA, and that's what makes this so much better. You know what I mean? Because you have Tatum, right, who was getting all that praise and all that talk about becoming one of the best players in the NBA, right, prior to injury. You had him, but everybody hated him because he was corny, right? Everybody hates Tatum because, oh, he's unoriginal. But everybody hates SGA because of one facet of his game. Everybody likes to talk about the free throws and the foul baiting, which he does. But let's not let free throws, 1 point, distract you from the other points he puts on the board, from the points he takes away from the players that he's defending. So Brunson fans, Trae Young fans, if there are any out there, there's 2 sides of the basketball court. They both matter. They both matter. Let's look at last night's stats. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in 39 minutes, on top of his step-back 3 to seal this game, and the one that sort of sealed it before Nikola Jokic got that 4-point play to end the Nuggets game. I mean, that was unbelievable as well, that 4-point play from Jokic. He had a spectacular game. This is not on Jokic offensively. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in 39 minutes had 35 points, 9 rebounds, 15 assists, a steal, a block, and he shot 14 for 21 from the field, 3 for 7 from deep, including his 2 clutch threes that won them the game, and he had 4 free throws. 4 free throws. 4. Not 14. 4. This game, and let me know if I'm crazy by saying this. Obviously, I know Cade Cunningham is not on Shai's level. I know that. But as a Cade fan and as somebody who has indulged Cade content and Shai content, this reminds me of the game that Cade just had in Madison Square Garden like 3 weeks ago. Cade had 42 points with 3 free throws. Now, there's only few players in this NBA that can get those amount of points without those amount of free throws. And it's Shai and it's Cade. But obviously, Shai typically gets those calls. He typically gets those calls. Even going on to the other side, actually, no, I can't go to the other side yet. I see someone in TikTok saying, why don't you show stats anymore? I'm at my parents' house. I am visiting Detroit. I'd like to talk about Jalen Williams as well. I saw what Jalen Williams can do. What a steal that this team had, man. They signed him for, I think it was like a 3-year, $40 million deal. And everybody was saying, I've never seen this guy not smile when he's on the court or on the bench. And yes, his smile pisses me the hell off. But this guy is a hooper. He is a hooper. Jalen Williams, he got his career high against Detroit earlier in the season. And he proceeds in 40 minutes of game time last night to go through 29 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 10 for 17 from the field, 2 blocks. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Jalen Williams, beautiful game. And Lou Dort had a bad game. Isaiah Joe had an okay game. Kesa Wallace had a bad game. And then off the bench, I cannot believe they got this guy. I can't believe this guy, AJ Mitchell, is making $3 million for the next 3 years. AJ Mitchell. He's back. And he decides to go out for 24 points in 29 minutes, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. This guy's a talented individual, man. This guy he needs to fire his agent yesterday. He needs to fire his agent. $3 million a year for a guy that's giving you that much in the clutch and throughout the game? Sam Presti should be arrested. And then, of course, Jared McCain, man. If you guys were watching this game, people will think that Jared McCain had an okay game, going for 13 points, 4 for 7 from the field. If you watch this game, he had way more than an okay game. In fact, I'm willing to say that OKC doesn't win this if not for Jared McCain. Mr. Nail Polish went out and hit 2 clutch threes to end this game. He had 3 overall, but he hit 2 clutch ones with under 3 minutes left in this game. What a pickup. 76ers fans, you can tell me all the ifs, ands, or buts and all the trades that you guys made and the reasons why you made this trade. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And no, I did not remember that. In fact, I'm being told a straight up lie from a viewer in my Twitch stream because of his poor listening skills. He said, and I quote, remember when you questioned if Aaron Gordon was that important to the Nuggets offense? That's a bold-faced lie. Because I said I was questioning whether or not Aaron Gordon was that important to this team's defense. And so far, I'm being proven right. Their defense has not improved. I know how valuable he is to their offense. To their defense, though, that's why I could understand why their defense had fell off a cliff without Payne Watson and Aaron Gordon. I said Payne Watson, sure, I can understand they're lacking perimeter defense. But I didn't understand that Aaron Gordon was that valuable of an asset defensively. He is a good defender, but yeah, I won't let y'all put words in my mouth because I never, ever said something like that. Going to the other side, Aaron Gordon had 23 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, shot 6 for 14. He's still getting the rust off. For sure. He's still getting the rust off. Cam Johnson sucks. I can't believe they made that trade. Point blank period. I can't believe they made that trade. I thought this would be good. I thought this was going to be like a straight up swap, like 1-for-1 swap with MPJ and Cam Johnson, but for way less money. This is disappointing. He can't get a rhythm. I don't know how. You're playing with Nikola Jokic. You have open shot after open shot after open shot, and yet we can't hit. I'm going to save Mr. Jokic for last. Christian Braun, bad game, 2 for 6, 4 points. Honestly, Murray didn't have a good game. He shot 0 for 4 from deep. He should have sat this one out, to be honest, but he didn't want to miss the hype of this game. 21 points in 37 minutes, but he shot 9 for 23. It wasn't a good game from Murray. And then I do want to shout out Tim Hardaway Jr. Listen, I've seen this. I've seen Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't think he ever had 8 threes in a game for the Pistons last year. But what I will say is Tim Hardaway Jr., 10 for 16 from the field, 8 for 12 from deep, 28 points, absolute flamethrower. And it's so funny when people say, man, I know Detroit misses this. And it's like, I really don't. Tim Hardaway Jr. does this. You can look at his last few games. He does this. He'll go crazy in one game, and then he'll just be ass for straight up 3 weeks. Now, for the Nuggets, I like it way more. For us, for the Pistons, it was unfortunate because last year, Tim Hardaway Jr. was prolific for the Pistons off the bench. But when Jaden Ivey went down due to injury and Tim Hardaway Jr. had to start, it was not good. It was not good. And it's sort of just like right now for the Pistons as well. Sorry to bring them up, but I have to when I'm talking about Tim Hardaway Jr. for going for 28 points off the bench, 8 threes. It's sort of right now for the Pistons. They are forced to start Duncan Robinson when it should have been Jaden Ivey. But of course they got hurt. And that's sort of how she goes, man. I'm not talking about the Pistons right now. But yeah, Tim Hardaway Jr., man, it was a great game and they ended up losing. I did notice something, though. Tim Hardaway Jr. has these big games when Aaron Gordon plays. And that's very valuable for them because they do need that shooting. They don't really have any other reliable three-point shooters outside of Tim Hardaway Jr. Other than Jamal Murray, of course, but he's shooting 50% from deep. But last night, 0 for 4. That's horrible. But yeah, man, I was very, very impressed to see what I saw from the Nuggets. Is Artie's laptop about to die, bro? Yeah, I think it is. Okay. So, Thunder winning that game, absolutely incredible. SGA stuck his claim into winning back-to-back MVPs. As far as finals MVPs go, we'll see. It's just absolutely amazing to see what I'm seeing. It's beautiful. Now, for those of you guys asking me, JC, where's your charger? It's charging the laptop I'm live with, my laptop. This is why there might not be any more episodes for the rest of this week. I can't handle the stress. It's too much. Already forgot her charger. She forgot her jacket when we were going to Michigan. SGA is the MVP of this year. If he doesn't miss those games, the next few games, he's the MVP of this year. It's just, he's so good. He's so good. If you guys watch, he's so good at basketball. I won't, listen. When the Pistons play the Thunder again and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander goes for 10 free throws, I'm going to complain. I'm going to. But you know why I'm going to complain? It's because Cade's not getting those same calls that Shai's getting against them. When I don't have any biases or any horse in the race, Shai is an unbelievable watch. And last night, watching that game from tip-off to the end, the final buzzer, you can't help but to just admire what you're watching and appreciate what you're watching. It's sort of like LeBron in the early 2010s for me. I hated LeBron. I hated him. He ended my dynasty. But sometimes, man, put that calculator down. Put the box score down and just appreciate basketball, man. Those step back threes, he's pushing off on them. I just need to make that clear. He's pushing off on all of those threes. If the refs ain't calling it, keep on pushing, Shai. Reggie pushed. MJ pushed. Keep pushing. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP performance. You're missing almost your entire starting lineup, and you still go out, and you still get it done night after night. Unbelievable. Love that game from last night. If you did not watch it, I highly recommend going and watch the condensed version, okay? I highly recommend watching that condensed version on YouTube. Guys, let's move on to our next game. I want to talk about the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Clippers. The Knicks fall 118 to 126. My God, man. I'm being told so many outlandish things about the New York Knicks. Let's just talk about the Clippers right now. The Clippers, after starting 6-21 in this regular season, they are now 32-32. They are 500 after starting 6. This is not just a turnaround, y'all. This ain't a turnaround. Like this is unreal. This is way more than a turnaround. I also have a question for my Twitch chat. Sean, are you Lambie in the Discord? My apologies. That's off topic, I know, but he's using the emojis that somebody in my Discord uses, and I'm finally putting 2 and 2 together. I wonder if that's him that's in the Discord. Oh, yep, that is him. Okay, got it. That is Lambie. I never knew that. Understood. Knicks fans, we'll get to you in a second. I just got to marvel at what the Clippers are doing, man. They blew up their team. Essentially, they blew it up. They traded James Harden, who was their number 2. They traded Ivica Zubac, who was technically their number 2. And they just said, Kawhi, man, we're done this year. We're done. We ain't winning. We would have traded you if we weren't getting offers on pennies on the dollar. You know what I'm saying? They would have traded Kawhi. They would have. They were taking calls on him at the trade deadline as well after they traded Zubac, but it was too late. They weren't getting that good of offers, and I don't blame him. Just keep him if the offers are ass. Kawhi doing whatever he wants. I don't know. There's like 2 words. There's 2 words that I think you can only use for Kawhi Leonard, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think the first one is surgical, the way he plays basketball, And I think the only way to properly describe Kawhi Leonard for somebody that's never watched basketball before, if you were describing archetypes, hear me out. I've said this before. Mechanical. It's not because he's a robot, but the way he moves. Think about it this way. A robot, there's no wasted movement. There's no wasted theatrics. Kawhi Leonard, the way he moves is so mechanical. He knows what he's doing before he does it. And another player that is turning back the clock and looking like it's 2018 Kawhi. This is unreal. This is unreal. Boardman gets paid. He's a fun guy. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. Watching Kawhi Leonard, 29 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. You know, I didn't even talk about Jokic in the Nuggets game. Jokic, you did great offensively. Defensively, bro, you didn't look that great. Lou Dort, that was dirty as well. I don't like how reckless you are with your body parts. Yeah, Jokic did what he can offensively. Sorry, I'm bouncing back and forth. Yeah, Jokic had in 40 minutes, 32 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists. Defensively, though, he just was non-existent. He was non-existent. Don't worry, we're going to be talking about another defensively non-existent team here in a second. Yeah, Kawhi Leonard played incredible, 10 for 19 from the field. Derrick Jones Jr., decent game, not really efficient, but he had 16 points and 7 rebounds. Brook Lopez turned back the clock, 16 points, 4 rebounds. He's been incredible. I did not think he'd be starting, but obviously they forced their hand. 5 for 8 shooting. Chris Dunn had an okay game. He was great defensively, 5 points. Darius Garland, I think arguably his best game as a Clipper, 23 points, 7 assists. 1 rebound, 7 for 16 from the field, and he hit 5 threes. That's great. But I think one player in particular thought he was still a pacer because he came out and cooked the Knicks. Benedict Mathurin. He must have thought he was still a pacer, y'all. He dropped 28 points off the bench. 28 points off the bench doing what he's doing. He took 20. You know how hard it is to take 20 shots coming off the bench? You know how difficult that is? This is like his third time. This is like his third time with the Clippers doing this. Listen, man, I'd hate to verse the Clippers in the first round if I was a Western Conference team. That was it. That was pretty much all the production they had. But they got it done. Moving on to the other side, the New York Knicks. I mean, who do I start with first, y'all? Who do I start with? I think I'm going to just go in order. Is that okay with everybody? TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. Link in my bio, Jay-Z Uncut. I'll just go in order. Mr. 5 draft picks himself, Mikal Bridges. In his last 2 games, he has 7 points. He had 7 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. He was a minus 17 on the court, which is the team low. 3 for 8 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. Mikal Bridges, what do you do? Listen, Knicks fans, I just want you to know that you would have Giannis Antetokounmpo right now. You would have him if you didn't trade for that. Guys, I completely messed up. I'd like to apologize to everybody watching today. I'm so sorry. I'm so unorganized because I'm working on 2 laptops right now. Do I have any Thunder fans still in the building? Because I have a very fun fact for everybody that I've been preparing to tell y'all today, okay? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has now tied, including his game winners, he has now tied Wilt Chamberlain for his 20-plus point streak with, yeah, he's at 126 games of scoring at least 20 points or more. That ties Wilt Chamberlain's record, okay? I have an even crazier statistic that I'm pretty confident that none of y'all know at all. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did this while missing a lot of games in between. We all know how the modern NBA is, right? You know, missing it back-to-back, missing it due to injury. You know, this year he missed, 10 games? 10 games, right? About a month. So we all know that. Like, that's just how that happens. Sorry, Knicks fans. Sorry, Clippers fans. We'll be getting back to that game shortly. I just need to talk about this real quick. I'm sorry. This is super unorganized. My apologies. I did some research into Wilt Chamberlain's record of 126 games in a row of scoring at least 20 points or more. I want to share it with you guys, okay? So back in the day when Wilt achieved this record, Wilt Chamberlain did not miss a single game in these 126 games in a row. I need everybody to listen. Podcast listeners, everybody, I need y'all to listen because this is insane. Shai missed a lot of those games. I don't have the exact figure, but I'm willing to say at least 25 games. I'm willing to say that. 20 games he missed in this 126 game streak. Wilt did not miss a single game in his streak. Okay? Wilt Chamberlain, 126 games played in a row, scoring 20 or more. You guys are probably wondering, how many back-to-backs did Wilt have in his streak? He had 17 back-to-backs. 17. I'm not done yet. Back in the day, the NBA used to do back-to-back-to-backs. I'm talking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He had 13 of those in this streak. They also used to do back-to-back-to-back-to-backs. I'm not making this up. That's 4 days in a row. 4 games in a row for Wilt's streak. 4 games in a row. He had 2 of those. I'm not done yet. He had back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-backs. We are talking 5 games in a row. 5 days in a row. Wilt Chamberlain. He had 2 of those. 2. So when you add all of this together, out of Wilt's 126 games in a row of scoring at least 20 points or more, doing the math, 55 games, or should I say 44% of Wilt's streak was played on 0 days of rest. Half of his streak of the 126 games was off 0 days of. How did they not tear Achilles back then? How did they not get injured the way they do today? Back then, they weren't moving like that. He was just running rim to rim. I get it. That's just unbelievable. That is just unbelievable. For those of you that heard those stats, like that is crazy. That is crazy. Let's continue. OG Anunoby had a good game. 22 points. Back to the Knicks game. 22 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 8 for 15 from the field. He had a pretty good OG Anunoby game. That's a good game. I'm going to say, actually, no, I'm not. Karl-Anthony Towns, he had his best game of the season. Best game of the season. And it came in a loss. 35 points in 36 minutes, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, minus 12 on the court. He was 13 for 17 from the field and 3 for 4 from deep. He had 8 free throws as well. Josh Hart, 12 points, 5 for 7. Jalen Brunson, 28 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Only a +1, and he was a 12 for 23 from the field, 2 for 7 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, my apologies. And the bench, little to no production. Jose Alvarado's been putting goose egg after goose egg after goose egg. I know they brought him to be a secondary playmaker off the bench. He ain't playmaking anything if nobody's hitting shots, and he's not hitting his shots. I sort of told everybody this, that Jose was super hot or cold, and he's been cold for the last 2 weeks. He has not been good. If Landry Shamet's only giving you 3 for 12 from the bench, you're pretty much hoping that your starters gave you at least like 15 each, and they didn't. If you guys watch this game, you'll know this is a bad Brunson game. He had 28 points. How many do y'all think he gave up? I don't have the exact number, so I'm just asking y'all. How many points do y'all think that Brunson gave up? Like, just genuinely. If you say under 40, you're wrong. It was definitely 50 plus. I'd be willing to dig deep into those analytics. I'm not going to do that right now, but I'm willing to dig deep and look. It's got to be 50 plus. Switch after switch, screen after screen, POA, just attacking him over and over again. Guys, I got to be honest, y'all. If this team versus the Celtics in the playoffs, pack it up. I'm serious. Knicks fans, you do not want to versus the Celtics. Knicks fans, you do not want to verse the Pistons. Those are the only teams that are going to consistently abuse Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns at the same time. Those are the only teams. The Cavs aren't going to do that. There's no other team. There's no other team. And you guys know me. I'm not confident in my Pistons. Y'all know that. But what I am confident is the Pistons abusing their their lack of interior and point guard presence in defense. I don't know. I don't know. I'm looking at Knicks Twitter right now. There's a lot of accounts out there that are out on Brunson being a number one for a team. And I sort of alluded to this at the start of the season. I said, like, this year is going to tell you whether or not you could have Brunson as your number one. And I think I still hold true to that. I think I still agree with what I said. I don't think Brunson is a number one for a championship team. I think this team could have done a lot more had they not bought into the Villanova gimmick. I think this, obviously I know, like, they have to win this year. And if they don't, you have to start looking at the construction of this team and maybe look back and say, damn, we really sold a golden opportunity here because we wanted to build the Villanova team. I think if this team had Dante DiVincenzo still over Mikal Bridges, they'd be the better team than they are now. And I don't think that's a hot take. I think everybody would probably agree with me. I'm not going to overreact and go too crazy. I'm just talking about hypotheticals right now. All I know is this is a championship roster. If they don't get it done, if they don't get to the finals, at least, the thing is, if they make it to the finals, they're going to run it back. They're gonna like tweak a couple pieces, but they're gonna virtually run it back. They're not gonna make a drastic move. If they don't make the finals, then yeah, they're gonna make a drastic move. It's the Knicks. They're going to. Whether it pays off or not, we'll find out together. But yeah, I'm just being honest with everybody here. If they make the finals, that's a step in the right direction. But they got to make the finals. If you get eliminated at any point before then, I feel like they're gonna make a big change when it comes to roster construction and who's at the core, you know? I don't agree with the whole Villanova thing. At this point, I think it's faltered. It's not playoff time yet, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, Karl-Anthony Towns was still getting attacked. I think Knicks fans can even agree. This was a great cat game. But it wasn't a great cat game on both sides of the court. I think we can all agree to that. It's hard to have two cones. It's hard to have two cones on the court at the same time, man. It's tough. It's tough. I still think the Knicks are probably the team to beat in the East. I've been saying that. But that was before they got Tatum back. That was before the Celtics got Tatum back. I can't even say that the Pistons are like beat the Celtics in the season series. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why Pitt is putting words in my mouth saying that if the Knicks make the finals, Jay-Z said he'd do a full body wax on stream. Never said that. Never said that. Absolutely not. They were my pick to make the finals. But yeah, I can't even say that the Pistons are 3-1 against the Celtics this season. I can't because they got Tatum back. So here I am looking dumb as if regular season games matter a whole lot. You know what I mean? Guys, let's just go ahead and move on. I was going to do a true or false segment, but it seems like my live chat is sort of dead right now. So I don't know if I should. If you guys are here, say here, just so I know that there's some people to at least play the game with me, just to see if it's worth doing, because I did prepare a true or false segment. Oh, okay, they are here. I don't have my view count up, so I genuinely don't know how many people are here or not. All right, guys, let's play a little game of true or false, okay? I need everybody's help, so just lock in for me for a second, guys. True or false? The Celtics are the only true contender in the East. That came to me this morning when I woke up. I woke up in a cold sweat, and I was like, tell me this ain't true. I was just like, tell me this ain't true, man. Tell me this ain't true. Now, I see a lot of falses. A lot of the falses are coming from other Eastern Conference fan bases. I see Knicks fans saying false. I see a Raptors fan saying false. I see a Philly fan saying true. I see a Heat fan saying true. I'm going to go ahead and say false. I think it's false. Listen, man. Are the Knicks the Timberwolves of the East? Maybe. Are they super inconsistent? Yeah. But I'm going to go ahead and say false. I don't think that's true. Here's what I'll say. The Pistons match up well against the Celtics, but they added Tatum now. The Knicks match up well against the Celtics, but they fixed what they were missing last year by having Nemish Queta, who's an athletic center, and they have Tatum back. I'm looking at the other teams. The Cavs. The Cavs can never beat the Celtics. So I think it all just breaks. It just comes down to how the bracket breaks. We'll see. We'll see what happens. How the bracket breaks. But I think personally, if the Celtics can somehow play the Cavs, and I don't know who, the Magic, they're moving to the conference finals guaranteed. And then like it's like, who would they verse at that point? You know what I mean? It's like, who would they verse? It's the Pistons or it's the Knicks? I don't know. I already talked about it. I said the Eastern Conference Finals. I said the Eastern Conference is going to be a lot more fun than the West because you genuinely don't know what's going to happen. And you know, can I just cut myself off real quick? There's somebody in the Twitch chat named Quickscope and saying Phil Jackson's rule has predicted out of the last 46 out of the 48 champions, the Pistons fall under that. And the Celtics were a game off of the Phil Jackson rule. So the two contenders are the Pistons and the Celtics. Quick, you know what's funny? I've never heard this rule until this year. Anybody else? Never heard this rule. Never heard it. I talked about it earlier in the year when the Pistons achieved that. And of course, Quick is talking about it because he's a Spurs fan. He's a Spurs fan. They did that. Now they're talking about it. I've never heard of this until this year. This Phil Jackson rule, never heard of it. And now all of a sudden I hear it all the time. I'm being told that my Pistons are a contender because they won 40 games before 20. If you guys have watched the Pistons for the last 2 weeks, you would not be uttering those words. If you watch the Pistons over the last 2 weeks, you would not be uttering those words. Do I think the Pistons can bounce back? Sure. Do I think the Celtics can be beat? Yeah, I do. I think this is false. I don't think the Cavs are going to do much. If they verse my Pistons, they will. I think the Celtics are the team to beat again in the East. I think the Celtics are the team to beat. I think they are. I think they've passed the Knicks now in my mind of like mental enemies. I think people have shown how to beat the Knicks a multitude of times on national television. The Pistons learned a lot by playing the Knicks last year, and how to handle Cade Cunningham getting blitzed and double teamed every possession. On top of that, on who to attack with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. I think it's going to be very fun watching Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the playoffs. They probably will get in each other's way. They probably will end up taking turns at some point or another. It's probably going to happen. But they got an athletic big now. They win rebounding battles now. Those were their biggest weaknesses last year. They were slow. They couldn't jump. They couldn't get rebounds. They can do all that now. It's crazy that gap year Celtics are better than last year's Celtics. It's nuts what having no expectations does to a team. Vucevic doesn't matter. Luka Garza will give you the same thing that Vucevic will give you. Genuinely. Am I wrong by saying that? No, I'm not. I've watched Vucevic plenty of times. He's not good against good teams. I've been watching Vucevic for the last 15 years. He's not good against good teams. We all know this. This is what Vucci baby is. He's good against mediocre and ass teams. That's who Vucci baby is. There's no difference between Luka Garza and Vucci. It's the same thing. The only difference is that Vucevic can have big games against bad teams when Luka Garza can't. That's it. But you're not going to verse a bad team in the playoffs. You're not. No, the Celtics won the championship in 2024 by killing Luka Doncic. By utterly embarrassing Luka Doncic on national television. That's how they won. That's how they won. Even Derek White said, Luka, come here. Over and over again. Come here. I'm glad most of y'all disagree with that statement. Let's move on. Let's move on to our next topic. True or false? The Denver Nuggets missed their window. Because the next 10 years are the Thunder versus Spurs. I'd love to see what you guys have here, man. I would love to see what you guys here. Now, I had the Nuggets coming out of the West this year. I said this is the best Nuggets team of all time. It is. Up and down. Look up and down this roster, man. Look up and down this roster. Now, my personal opinion is Nikola Jokic is too good of a player to just write off like that. I think how the bracket breaks means so much in the playoffs. I think it means so much in the playoffs. I think what we watch, the issue is the Nuggets are falling. The Nuggets right now are on a free fall. They are. I don't know if you guys know this, but they are 39-26. Part of the reason being, in fact, most of the reason being is because of injuries. The Nuggets are the 6th seed right now. The 6th. They would verse the Thunder in the second round. And that's if they can beat the T-Wolves. They are a game and a half away from falling into the play-in. I need you guys to hear that. They're a game and a half from falling into the play-in. They're also a game and a half from being the 3rd seed. I mean, come on now. A game and a half from the play-in, but a game and a half from the 3rd seed? They would verse the Timberwolves in the first round. And then we're going to start seeing some crazy takes about the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. Either team that loses, they're going to have some outlandish takes about them. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that the West and the East are this much of a bloodbath, bro. It's crazy. You can look at the Eastern Conference. The Knicks are, this is crazy. The Knicks are 4.5 games from falling into the play-in. 4.5. Okay? And they're the 3rd seed. So like these games are decided by like little to none. And then the 3rd seed in the West, the Timberwolves are 3 games from the play-in. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm calling false. I'm not writing off the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic is that great. Jamal Murray is that great of a second option. And don't forget, Jamal Murray is also a playoff riser. So I'm not counting them out yet. But what I will say is they're going to be paying attention very closely to what's happening around in the Western Conference, man. Because you got Wemby, you got Shai, you guys got Cooper Flag now. Absolute cinema. Straight up. It's going to be fun. The next few years are going to be fun, man. Can Wemby own the league? Can the Thunder continue their reign? Can they become the first dynasty in 8 years? I don't know, man. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Guys, let's move on to my final. I've been saying this so much to where I'm slowly starting to convince myself, okay? I'm not a believer quite yet into this next topic, but I do want to ask where you guys are at, especially because we got some Knicks fans in the building, okay? Actually, we do have a question. He's only asking this because he's a Spurs fan and he needs to stroke his ego a little bit, so I'll answer it. Would you say the number 1 and 2 seeds in the East and West are probably a lock? I know it's off topic, but you were talking about seeds. The West is definitely a lock. Yeah, there's no team that's going to make up that ground unless I'm not going to say what I'm going to say about Wemby. But unless that happens, then that's a lock. And the East, I mean, the Pistons, if they keep falling, sure, they could fall. But I mean, they still have a 5.5 game lead on the Knicks. By the way, I do want to reiterate this for Celtics fans in the crowd. The Celtics are 2.5 games below the Pistons. They're technically 3.5 because the Pistons own the tiebreaker. No, sorry, they're technically 3, not 2.5, but 3. Because if the Pistons and Celtics are tied, the Pistons still walk away with the first seed. So yeah, there's still technically 3 games. I mean, the Knicks are only 3 games behind the Celtics, but that gap is gapping right now. That gap is gapping. That gap is gapping. Okay. My final true or false segment. Knicks fans, I need y'all to be loud here. You can't win with Brunson at your number one. I'd love to hear what people think. Now, I've said guaranteeing that if Cat's your number two, you can't win. But can you win with Brunson at your number one? I want to gauge your guys' opinions. This guy is like your franchise savior right now. So can you stomach this question? Can you guys win? True or false? Can you win with Jalen Brunson at your number one? Can you win with Jalen Brunson at your number one? I'm seeing everybody but Knicks fans saying false. I feel like every time people count out Brunson and he just takes us further than ever expected, it's hard to say. That's not an answer. That's not an answer. If Brunson improves no, that's not happening. The question was, if Brunson improves his defense, I think we're all pretty clear on that not happening. That's not going to happen. Realistically, no. Okay, so I have a follow-up question for everybody in the audience. I have a follow-up question. Are you giving him your $350 million extension that he wants? Are you? I'm asking everybody in this building. Are you guys giving a 6-foot overweight point guard his $350 million that he wants? Solo said yes. He's a Pacers fan. He wants them to. But I'm asking if you would. You would. If he was on your team. If he was on your team. If he was on my Pistons. If he was on your Pacers. If he was on your... Any Wizards fans in the building? If he was on your team, are you giving him $350 million? Not going to lie, out of respect and what he's done for this franchise, we low-key have to. What has he done? Oh, did you guys win? You guys made the conference finals. What has he done? The NBA Cup? I'm not being rude. I'm just being realistic here. He has not done anything. Made us relevant again? You guys... Oh, so we're just giving out participation $350 million. So my point being, you give him that $350 million. I mean, you guys are rebuilding for the next 15 years again. So if being relevant is the bar here, money is more important now. Money is way more important now. The issue with moving on from guys like Bridges, Hart, and Towns is everybody sees how they are. We all know Cat is not a number two now. We all know he's too stubborn to be a number three. And I don't know what you guys want. Najib said he might sneak into the finals if they have favorable matchups, but I promise you he's not beating the Nuggets, OKC, Spurs, or even Wolves in a potential finals. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I didn't know the Knicks were the Kings just trying to fill seats. That's the issue at hand, life. That's the issue at hand. So, need I remind you guys of small point guards? Need I remind you guys, Knicks fans, cover your ears. Isaiah Thomas. I'm talking both Isaiah Thomases. Pistons Isaiah Thomas and second Isaiah Thomas. Pistons Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Famer, one of the best players of all time. He retired at 33. 33. Different times, I know. But look at modern day Isaiah Thomas. He was forced out of the league before he was 30. Let's continue. Maybe he's too small for you. What about Kemba Walker? Kemba Walker was playing overseas last I saw. Kemba Cardiac Walker. The guy who was doing it at 18 years old in Madison Square Garden. The names go on. If you guys want to remind me of more small point guards that flamed out before they were 33. The list goes on, man. It's depressing. Trae Young, sure. Trae Young. I came over from TikTok. I would not give Brunson the extension. Big Mur, my baby. Thank you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. My goat. I appreciate you, bro. Welcome on in. Join the Discord as well, Big Mur. I'd love to have you in here, all right? Jeremiah Fears. Okay, relax. Davion Mitchell and I go, no. That's speculation. We don't do speculation. He said he would not give Brunson the extension. He came from the TikTok and came into the Twitch and said, I would not give Brunson that extension. No, Muggsy Bogues is 5'5", bro. That doesn't count. My point being, there are so many point guards like that. And most of them we're not remembering because they sort of are just out of the NBA before we even know their names. I agree, Wardo. I agree, bro. Curry really is like, it's because he's never relied on his physical prowess ever. He changed the game so that it fits for him. That's why I can't give. And plus, Steph Curry is not a small point guard, by the way. He's 6'3". He's not a small point guard. I'm talking the 6'1s and under. Pritchard, the best small guard in the league, purely based on his productivity and pay? Absolutely. I could not disagree more. Brunson is better than Payton Pritchard, and his contract is not that crazy. Is he the best white point guard? Sure, I'll give you that. If Cavs have faith in Don, I'll have faith in Brunson. Hey, Knicks fans, can we all agree to something? Actually, basketball fans, can we all agree to something? I am not here to tell you guys to lose hope. I am always somebody that is going to, I want you guys to have faith. Right? But hope is what kills you. But faith, have it. Wardo came into the Twitch and said random, but do the Wolves have a point guard? Because I feel like, no, that's what we've always talked about. No, we're getting off topic here, but no, the Wolves do not have a point guard. If they do keep Brunson, Cat got to go. He's not you can't have two cones on defense. And right now, you have not arguably, I mean, the undisputed worst defending point guard in the NBA in Jalen Brunson. And then arguably the worst defending center in the NBA in Karl Anthony Towns. You cannot have two cones on defense. Absolutely. I agree. Şengün is also bad at defense. I agree. Whoo, man, it's scary hours, y'all. All right, guys, listen. I saw some very interesting takes about that. I saw some very interesting takes on that with Jalen Brunson. Now, I do have to say this. Jalen Brunson is going to do magnificent things in the playoffs. He's going to do magnificent things in the playoffs. We all know that, right? We all know that. Knicks fans, we know that. Yeah, Nate Robinson, sure, but he's 5'9". We all know Jalen Brunson's going to do some amazing things in the playoffs. We know that. But this is the year. Their salary says it's the year. Their luxury tax says it's the year. Their lack of first-round picks in the future says it's their year. They said it's their year. They said, excuse my French, fuck your NBA Cup tournament. We don't want it. We're winning the whole thing. The Knicks wanted it, and they're going to get it these playoffs. Jason Tatum's back. The Pistons suck. I'm kidding. The Cavs have playoff Harden, who we know has never failed in the playoffs. In a Cavs uniform. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's going to do it for today's episode. Again, I do have to regurgitate this. I don't know if we're going to be continuing with episodes this week. Stay tuned in the Discord to know about the updates with our schedule and what we're doing for the rest of this week. Artie's laptop died next to me, so I sort of had to scramble towards the tail end of this episode. I do want to say thank you all so very much for tuning in. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. If you guys are tuning in while I'm on this vacation right now, I am at my parents' house right now. So for those of you who are disappointed in the lack of quality and entertainment and just overall everything about this show, be sure to check out our older podcast episodes as of last week, where we're in our normal studio, we're in our normal house, we're in our normal state. So this is not the typical setup that we have for the TikTok and Twitch chat. If you guys did miss parts of this episode or you want to catch up on yesterday's parts, be sure to type in !podcast in the Twitch chat so you can check out our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube channel. I'm going to be uploading these about 10 or 15 minutes after I end today's stream, just because my parents' Wi-Fi is not as good as my Wi-Fi. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Twitch chat, stick around for just one moment after this. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being you. And I'll let y'all know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. All right? Thank you for watching / listening. And possibly I'll see you guys tomorrow. Just so everybody knows, we do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Just bear with me this week for this weird schedule we have at my parents' house. All right, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, have a blessed rest of your day. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow morning.